You're listening to Adesope Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, where we break down the hottest stories within the Afropop culture and in general, basically sponsored by World Remit and, of course, shot here at the Afro Media Studios and supported by LM Media, I am Maurice, and, of course, Afro Scene TV. I'm Adesope Olaje, the host, and I'm joined this week by another special guest, another PR specialist, as well as a broadcaster. It's my sister, Gracie May. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming, because I know you're also very busy in the game. Apart from radio, PR, you've got your podcast going, you're a businesswoman, and you were stuck in traffic on your way here.
I was. Apologies. What can I say?
Anyway, let's get into it. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on some of these stories, and really looking forward to getting into it right now. So some of the headlines are simple. The YBNL princess reappears demanding an apology from Olamide during an interview that she granted. Obviously, we have the Ghanaian elections with John Dumelo, popular actor John Dumelo, losing his parliamentary seat attempt. We've got Davido's popular security, TJ, who sadly lost his life earlier in the week. Of course, Burna Boy as well with Soundtrack. We need to definitely talk about that. But yeah, there's a lot to get into. So let's start straight away in Nigeria, where former YBNL artist known as YBNL Princess, now Temi Ovasa, gave an interview online where she slammed the label for what she claimed was a lack of growth, holding her music back and not pushing her career at all. Now, the singer, who signed for YBNL at the age of 19 to a lot of industry buzz, I hope you caught the buzz when she signed that time, isn't it? Claims she being the only female was a token gesture and there was really no interest in developing her career. She went further to say she recorded a couple of albums under the stable that never saw the light of day as nobody communicated anything to her on why the albums were shelved, leading to why she eventually left. She also alluded to her sexuality possibly being a problem, although claiming she had and still has a great relationship with former label mates and label boss Olamide in the now viral interview piece. Well, following on from the interview, she has since tweeted that she had a meeting with Olamide and that all past issues have now been resolved. And she finished with a quote saying, "It's always been love between them all." Now, when you saw the headline and you saw the interview, what were your thoughts about?
I genuinely don't believe in airing your dirty laundry. If you have an issue with Olamide and YBNL, go to them. What does airing it in public do for you? It means that you are no longer sellable for any other brand or label because they don't want to sign you because they believe that you're a liability. If it was always love, then why did it even come up? Where was your media training? If the albums didn't come out years ago, why are you talking about it now?
What about the interview in itself? When I watched the interview, okay, let's go back to when she was signed. When she was signed, there was a lot of buzz around the fact that YBNL had signed a female artist who also showcased a lot of talent. She played the guitar. There was something sweet about her. Olamide brought her to the UK for the 2016 tour. She performed in London. There was a lot of buzz. I think she dropped about 3 or 4 singles during that time, and all of a sudden there was a lot. She was just silence. So what about us asking the question as well, probably putting it to the label, what did happen to that career?
Do you think she was a token? Because Maven had Tiwa and, everybody had their first lady. Do you feel like she was a token?
I don't, because Olamide has proven himself to be somebody that actually spots talent. He picked on Adekunle Gold. He picked Lil Kesh. He's picked Fireboy. And when he picked, YBNL Princess, she didn't have anything that all the other females at the time did. The sexual, the sexy lady Tiwa Savage or Yemi Alade or all of that. She had none of that. She was just a young girl who was talented. And that alone spoke volumes to me, saying that Olamide picked her because of her talent. Then she went as well as saying something like on the album cover of the YBNL kind of camp, blah, blah, blah. She was just put on the wall somewhere. She had a lot of insinuations in that interview. plus the fact that she was chain smoking and swearing in the interviews. There's nothing wrong with smoking and there's nothing wrong with swearing, but she just didn't come across. Yes,
it was messy. It was just. I think everything you said, I completely agree with. Like Olamide spots talent. He's active in the DMs. So he's always engaging with the fans. I think that's why he's the king of the street, because people know that nothing he does is a tokenistic gesture. So when she was saying it, I was like, that's not the Olamide I know.
And that we've seen.
And like you said, with the track record of all the artists that we said, Adekunle Gold, Little Kesh, Fireboy, they've had a proven track record.
Absolutely.
And like an elongated, if I can say, career. None of them have been like one-hit wonders.
Yep.
Also, on top of that, I don't know many people that have come away from YBNL and spoken badly about Olamide. So I'm wondering why she would feel like it's just her. Watching it, like you said, her demeanor, the packaging, everything, she just seemed disgruntled, but also, I don't know, like it's not pretty to see.
And then she went to Twitter and eventually said she had already gotten in touch with him, which meant that they reached out after they saw that interview. And if it was that bad of a relationship while she was there, I don't think they would have quickly reached out that well. And she would have put out a tweet following that. She's got an album out. And
I was going to say, controversy sells.
When the interview came out as well, I think she must have mentioned Chinkwe Kun's name or something. And he did a freestyle where he was like, keep my name out of your mouth. And I was like,
whoa. He also has a track out, though, called Share Location. So.
So.
Yeah. Controversy sells.
What's up, my people? My name is Adesope, the aka Shops, aka the Energy God, and I'm officially on Fanbiz. Now, Fanbiz is a partner of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats podcast. So you can hit me up on there if you have any questions about getting into the music industry, about the Afrobeats culture, and I'll specifically speak to you. Like I said, I'm giving free advice on Fanbiz at the moment, so make sure you join Fanbiz and hit me up for more information.
I'm disappointed because I feel like we always have the conversation that there isn't enough investment or support into females in Afrobeats.
Yep.
Today, actually, I did a whole list of, I think, 50 or so Afrobeats female artists that are popping, that are releasing music.
That's amazing work.
Because I'm just tired of the conversation.
That's amazing work.
Like, we speak about Thames, we speak about, obviously, Tiwa, Yemi, Simi, Shay.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that are doing amazing work. And for me, she's just one of the artists that I would like to know what happened to the albums. I would like her to have that closure, if you can call it that. But I don't think this is the right move if she wants to be picked up by another major, because you look like a liability. You look like you can't keep things confidential. You look sour. It does more harm than good.
But what about, I'm happy you touched on the women in the music industry. We've been in conversations about this. We've been in Clubhouse. We've been, I've spoken to artists. People are passionate and disappointed with believing that they haven't been given a fair shot, which is true to some extent. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Agreed.
What are the major steps that you think the Afrobeats industry needs to make to ensure that there is a conducive environment for female musicians that, in my opinion, I've said it a million times and I stand to say it again, that the women, when it comes to performances, I am yet to see a female performer that is not tearing up the stage.
We dance, we sing, we've got the breath control, and we're doing it in heels with beat makeup. The guys could never, okay? We see them rocking up onto the stage.
Talk about it.
Drunk, high, which again, live your life, whatever you feel is best for you, you can do. But the ladies could never. They would forget a dance step. They would forget.
They don't take that risk.
They don't. They can't afford to, because women, we've been taught that there's only one seat at the table. And once one person is written off, they're written off for life.
God damn.
So we don't take that chance. And I speak on behalf of all the females. Clearly I don't.
Yeah,
but I feel like we need more women in positions of power, calling the shots, creating organic, genuine opportunities. We don't want to be a token. We want to be featured alongside, the Davids, the Wizzes, the Burners. I don't even think, a lot of people have said in the past, oh, why don't we just have like a female cypher or more female collabs? And that is good. I love to see unity. But genuinely, I want people to look at the art and to look at the product and to look at the music and just genuinely support.
I agree with you 100%. We need to get to the position where the art and the product and the music speaks for itself. However, if you take the United States or America as an example, when they decided that it was not enough to say, yes, black people, they had to put it in law.
Yeah.
Affirmative action.
Right.
When you look at employment in American football, it's called the Rooney Rule,
Right.
which means that every single head coach vacancy that is put out there, there must be a black person that must be interviewed for that job too. So there was a law written down to ensure that black people get these opportunities. And now that we're now getting to that position, then you can now start to say, okay, yeah, let's open the door even wider and say we're just judging based on talent and skills. But initially, we need to force the law. I'm looking at a situation where we're saying, do you know what? 40% of the music being played in Afrobeats, if you're a DJ, you must select minimum 40%.
And the fact that I said that there's a list of 50 that I could name just off the bat of girls that I listen to means that there is enough music.
Do you know the funny thing? And another thing that I noticed when I tasked myself to do that and create a segment for them, I found out that when you are forced to go looking, guess what? You find so many.
They're there and they're making good. I mean, I could name 10 in the UK. I could name 20 in West Africa. We've got, Miss Vee. We've got Victoria Kamani holding it down on the East. We've got Shoma Josie, Busiswa holding it down in the South. In Ghana, Becca,
Miss
Effia.
V. The list goes on.
It's just...
but because people don't, we put ourselves in a position where the DJs just play music from Davido to Burna.
But the girls are making the up-tempo bangers. They are.
Again, there has to be a rule. I want people being I want people's hands to be forced. Do you know, let me tell you a thing. Because obviously I have strong relationships with some of the most amazing females. I forgot what party I was, and the DJ was playing behind me, and I was there for over an hour and a half. And I whispered to him, I said, in that last 1 hour, you've played almost 50 minutes of Burna Boy, which I love, by the way. You've played about 20 minutes of Wizkid, and you haven't played one female. I made him uncomfortable. It was our party. He's one of a close DJ, and he was like, and then he hit me with some Yemi and Tiwa, and then Inyola, and then Tenny, and then he moved on. But I'm like, someone had to point out. Yes. So if I make it a rule, like you're playing at this club tonight, fantastic. I don't care how you're going to do your mix. Your playlist has to have 40% women. Eventually, when you're doing that consistently for 4, 5, 6 months,
it'll become the norm.
You will find out that you yourself are going looking for them. Now I'm looking for Lydia Jasmine from Uganda. Now I'm running into Busiswa from South Africa. Now I'm searching by force for Miss V's hit. I'm listening to the album. I want to pick one song that's going to be great for my playlist. Do you understand? So I think that's where we need to be. Although I understand how the women feel like, we ain't no token. I understand.
Just love us for who we are.
I get it.
I blame some of the labels as well, because I mean, Leah has just been signed by DMW. And she's the first lady.
Exactly.
DMW's been around for years.
What about the term first lady?
You know, it already sets up a precedent that any other female that's going to come in is going to be seen as a threat, because that position is already quote unquote taken. I feel like, first of all, I will say I praise DMW. Whenever one of them releases, everybody of them support. So they all posted it on their feed, on their story. David even followed her to her first couple of radio interviews, even though he was kind of doing a blackout since he's been in Morning. And I just thought, it's beautiful to see that he's using his
platform.
Right, to just leverage
he's known for that.
Right,
anyway.
He does it. He, put Mayakun on his Mobo performance. He's known for leveraging his platform for the guys that are still coming up. I will say, though, it just sets a bad precedent. There's no space to sign any other female. They will feel like the second lady. Who wants to be the second lady? Nobody remembers second. We only remember the first.
No, we just need to keep on talking about this and pushing it further. Right. Hopefully, like you said, we will get parity. And the ladies, a lot of the great ones will not have been forced out of the industry. I think that's my fear. That the disappointment just like, you know what, just forget this rubbish.
Because the music is so good.
The music is amazing. The music. I was listening to Miss V's album on my way here. We'll talk about it. I had to send a message to her. I'm like, raw, this is crazy.
She's
this
done
is
so well.
crazy.
The features, the production.
It's crazy. I'm
Great
seeing
body of
Kojo,
work.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The Kojo Funds track is actually my favorite on the project.
The one with Sarko is ridiculous.
Okay,
bro.
no, that was sick too. yeah.
So it's amazing, and I'm very happy we'll be able to talk
about
about
that,
it. Yeah. So now, moving on from that, this week saw the highly anticipated Ghanaian presidential elections take place as incumbent President Nana Akufo-Addo took on former President John Mahama in the close race at the top. Now, Nana Akufo-Addo eventually claimed victory with over 51% of the public vote. However, 24 hours after the results were made public, former President John Mahama spoke at a press conference where he refused the election results, claiming irregularities with the results in some areas. Now, the parliamentary results at press time remains closer than ever, with the ruling party NPP at 137 seats, whilst the opposition NDC have 136. Now, the opposition party have claimed they have won in the parliament with more seats in what is being considered by observers as being a free and fair election so far. Now, before the election date, Ghanaian celebrities and singers had joined various campaigns pleading with Ghanaians to keep it free and fair and stay clear of trouble. And largely, this call for peace and unity was heeded by the public. However, the police claim 5 people died and 19 were injured during the tense weekend. Some of the other notable contests were by popular actor John Dumelo, who lost in a closely fought parliamentary seat in Accra. He lost by just 2,000 votes. First of all, an actor in John Dumelo who's decided to step up and be a politician. What are your thoughts about that? We've got one in Lagos who lost favor when he was campaigning for social media to be banned. What's his name now? Shay, you remind me of this guy's name. I remember his name. He was that popular actor. Anyway, what are your thoughts? John Dumelo loses. He's been seen out for the first time since his election loss today, and some of the people were taking a mickey at him. I thought that was unfair.
Yeah, unfair. I feel like Donald Trump has set the tone of reality stars and celebrities, people that don't have a political history, kind of taking up those spaces. In Nigeria, we've seen people like Chris Okoti also run for president. So it's not new. I'm always weary when someone that doesn't really understand the landscape.
Desmond Elliott is the Nigerian one.
I'm just always weary when celebrities try to step into that space.
Using their popularity to try to cash into politics.
It shouldn't be a popularity contest, right? It should be, what are you going to do for the country? How are you going to serve us? How are you going to make our tax money efficient and effective? I don't agree in taking a mickey out of him.
Absolutely.
He threw his hat in the ring.
He did well.
And he did well.
Very, very well.
He was going against two greats.
Yeah, and it was just the power. The power was just too much. Now, in terms of the presidential election, obviously, the former president has come out to say he refuses the results. He's not happy. Whereas Nana, the incumbent president, has reached out to everybody calling for unity. The time for fighting is over. Let's just move on. However, is there something that Nigeria can learn from
2023? It's going to be interesting.
Even sadly, 5 people allegedly lost their lives and 19 injured, but that still sounds like a drop in the ocean when it comes to Nigeria. Yeah. So, but again, one thing I wanted to speak to you about was the celebrities and musicians were part of a campaign that was really reaching out to the general public
and
on
the young
TV,
people,
on social media and everything, saying, please, let's keep it free and fair. Let's stay away from trouble. We are all one Ghana. That, I think, was a fantastic move.
100%.
However, in Nigeria in the past, we've seen some sections of celebrities do that, but we've also seen sections of celebrity endorse different political parties. Yeah. What are your thoughts on endorsing political parties, or what's the best way to go forward when it comes to being a musician and being approached by these big politicians and saying, come support me?
So I echo your sentiments in saying that it was great that we had Sarkodie, Stonebwoy, Shatawale just posting pictures of preparing to vote, then at the ballot, and they didn't really say who they were voting for, keeping it quite neutral. I think if I take it back to the UK, Stormzy heavily supported Jeremy Corbyn because they were going for the youth vote.
Absolutely.
So I can understand why the parties have a vested interest in engaging with celebrities and using their platforms. If I take it back to Nigeria, I haven't really seen it done effectively without it looking like this person is just posting because they've been paid versus do they really care about politics. I think it's a tricky one because when it comes to social issues like NSARS, We Are Tired and all the other campaigns we've seen this year, we are on these celebrities' necks to give us their opinion on what they think and they need to be involved. But then when it comes to politics, we're
we don't want to hear them.
We don't want to hear from you. Stay in your box. You're just a rapper. You're just a singer. Do what we're paying you to do.
I love that point.
So it's a bit of a tricky dynamic.
I actually think that celebrities and entertainers should be allowed the opportunity to endorse a candidate. They do it in the United States of America. And apart from the fact that in some cases they might be paid for that endorsement, but some cases you actually believe in that political dream. You know, that this guy has spoken to me. He told me he wants to engage with the young people. He's shown me his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-step plan. And his
manifesto.
Yes, it aligns with my thoughts and my views on how leadership should be. And what's wrong with me coming out and saying that?
I don't think there's anything wrong. I think depending on how extreme they are on the spectrum, you can alienate an audience.
Okay.
And if your primary focus as an artist is at the end of the day getting your music out there and, you know, securing the bag, sometimes it can be detrimental, especially if that person wins and then doesn't follow through with their manifesto, with the promises, they start squandering money and all the other things that we see politicians around the world doing. You're right. I think everyone has freedom of speech. They should definitely let us know that they are politically engaged.
Yes.
I don't personally think they always have to say who they're politically aligned to.
But they should
just let us know that they are part of the democratic process and they should encourage their followers to do the same.
Because they've got a platform.
Exactly
basically.
that.
Adesope Live, the Afrobeats podcast sponsored by World Remit. Amazing. Now, going over to Nigeria, where popular Afrobeat superstar Davido announced this week the passing of his beloved bodyguard and someone he called Uncle TJ. The gentle giant who has been seen around Davido for over 10 years was reportedly to have been battling an unknown illness for a while before eventually passing on this past week. Davido wrote a heartfelt tribute on social media, sharing pictures of both of them together and expressing his heartbreak at the loss of another close one, saying he's tired of being strong now. Now, David, if you remember, lost two very close friends in a space of months about 2 years ago, one being his former DJ and very close friend, DJ Olu. And with the sad news like this continuing to ravage 2020, I'm sure we all can't wait to leave this dark year behind it. What are your thoughts? First of all, our condolences go out to Davido and the family of TJ. I've seen TJ a couple of times with David when I went to Nigeria. Even in the UK, I believe he's traveled with him a couple of times as well. And the relationship, as he calls him uncle, that's one of the closest people. And you know, David always... the people he's worked with for a long time has still been around.
Yep.
And I believe even a couple of months ago during the NSARS protest, he actually was the one that put David on the shoulder when they were,
protesting.
So this must be a heavy blow for the young man.
Yeah. I feel like David has had a hard time. So again, thoughts and prayers are with him and the whole DMW camp. You know, losing his mum at a young age. I feel like there's been significant periods in his life where out of nowhere, somebody close to him has passed away. And I think, you know, in the Black community, we talk about grief, but we don't talk about mental health and how to recover from it and how to cope with it.
Absolutely.
And obviously being in the spotlight has its own set of anxiety and pressure and everything else. So to have so many losses, and he's only, what, 27,
He's
28?
Yeah.
It's a hard time.
Tough.
Hearing the stories as well of, you know, TJ really being kind of like a father figure as well.
That's him,
carrying him into, you know, planes, trains, buses, coaches.
Waking him up at relevant times.
Ensuring that he attends gigs, interviews.
Putting his life on the line to make sure he's, you know, he was safe and sound. And like you said, I actually thought about the mental health angle of this. Because the impact, this is a young brother who obviously cares a lot about the people that he surrounds himself with. And he has gone above and beyond in ensuring that a lot of people that you see around him, be it the musicians, the assistants, the bodyguards, are comfortable. And they become family members. And the minute he announced this loss, his social media post, like what I said, where he said, "I'm tired of being strong." That statement alone was what hit me the most. Because you know people are saying, "Yeah, be strong, be strong." And he's like, "Yo, How many times do I have to be strong? And now is the time. I know we don't have a culture of really looking after our mental health in Nigeria or going to therapists or whatever, but bro.
Now's the time. Can I tell you a scary fact?
Yeah.
There's only 200 registered psychiatrists in the whole of Nigeria. 200. I only know this because my mom's a forensic psychiatrist and she's looking to, do a lot of more mental health like schemes, activities, programs in Nigeria. But the demand isn't there. We attribute it to everything, go to church, go to mosque. That person has Jews on them.
Family member
whatever.
coming to tell you stuff.
And I think with the population size as it is, there's no way we should only have 200. That's like 0.001%.
But to be honest with you, there are a lot of people that graduate with the psychology degree in Nigeria.
And they fly out.
However, some of them even change careers.
Yeah.
Because of the necessity to find a job and to make
That
ends
pays.
meet.
Right.
Absolutely. They change careers. They don't register as a psychologist or look after people or psychotherapist or anything like that. And if you look at the last 12 months with the news that we see on social media with young men and women that have either attempted or taken their lives based on the pressure that, people are facing nowadays.
There's a need.
Massive
There's a need. I think if I take it back to TJ, I don't know if you saw David O's story. TJ had texted someone saying, he had been stabbed in the neck defending David, but then he said he would always be David's soldier and he will always be there for him. And David just screenshot that message that he had sent to a friend and said, TJ, I will continue to be a soldier for you or something to that effect. And I think now is the time for him to really invest in just taking some time out. He's had a great year, 2 albums in 2 years.
It's sad as well because his album just came out.
I know, but the pressure of the new release and grief, something has to take priority, and your mental health has to be number one.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, there won't be any other albums.
Absolutely. Again, condolences to David and the entire DMW camp, and most especially TJ's family and friends. Now, over to South Africa, where rapper AKA, who's supposedly gearing up for a boxing match with his arch rival Casper Nyovest, announced this week that he's now a part owner of a posh restaurant and club called Cuban Lounge in South Africa, tagging it Boss Moves. Now, the rapper said the lockdown got him reevaluating his career and looking at other ways to monetize, hence creating his vodka named Cruise and launching his app. Now, the new acquisition is just the next level up as he felt his fans needed the right spot to drink his vodka, and that was why he picked up the club. Now, it's impossible for us not to mention Casper Nyovest whilst talking about AKA because a fan tagged Casper in a tweet congratulating AKA. The fans can be they can be dirty as well. Yeah. Congratulating AKA of his new endeavors, saying whilst AKA is making boss moves, Casper just wants to fight. Well, Casper responded by saying nobody was ready to have the conversation about me making boss moves, and no one was in his league as an entrepreneur. Casper went on to say AKA's announcement is a ploy to avoid getting in the ring with him next year, after AKA was the one who initiated the boxing match that Casper has now totally bought into and ready to go. Firstly, what are your thoughts about AKA diversifying into, club and restaurant ownership?
I love it. We've got DJ Equal in Atlanta with his Ace Club.
Equal is incredible.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
doing his thing.
Yeah.
DJ Tunes has the Afrobeats nights in New York, and again they do lots of things. And I think they have a residency actually in the club. So I am all for Afrobeats artists diversifying their portfolio, making money any way they can, giving us more ownership, right? Because if we own the club,
AK is a rapper. Be careful. If you say Afrobeats artist, he's an South African rapper.
Sorry, I know him and Casper and a few Nasty C. They're not Afrobeats. Sorry,
Don't say that.
South African rapper.
Exactly.
But I love seeing artists from the continent.
Yep.
Is that good?
Amazing.
Thank you. I love seeing them have ownership because I've said for too long that everybody else is calling the shots. And when I previously mentioned, we need more women in positions of power, this is just another way to do it. If we've got the clubs and we've got the ear of the consumers, the listeners, the public, we can narrate our own story.
Yep.
We can continue to build generational wealth. And I think it's
Very
just nice
important.
to see. I want to go to the club.
Absolutely.
Send
When
the
I saw it as well, that was the first thing I thought, like, because he said posh night. And then he posted a video of him around the club saying
Luxury.
they're launching, they're launching on the 12th 12th of December. Is having an amazing time. I believe, AKA, actually both AKA and Casper have made incredible strides in the entrepreneurial space over the last couple of years. Nobody can deny what Casper has done, particularly taking his own money into developing his concerts from going from 5,000 to 20,000 to 50 to 60,000 by himself. Now that is one of the biggest risks any musician can do in their own life. And then he's diversified into other brands as well. So there's something in the water in South Africa that these artists have taken, you know, their investments from music and decided to look at other interests that they can put their money into. What would you say about the brothers and sisters from West Africa?
Can I hail NSG for a second?
Please
They have
do.
gone back to Ghana.
Yes, I saw
and
that.
confirmed that they are opening up a club in Ghana. And you know,
Fantastic.
NSG is made up of Nigerian and Ghanaian members.
yeah.
So I love to see it. If I now go back
I love
to
that.
Nate, yeah, I'm hailing them. The guys are
love
young.
that.
They're
I
all
love
under
that.
30. They're using the
They
money.
they had an amazing year from 2019 to 2020. So why don't you just invest the money in something?
And, you know, when we go to Accra, we talk about Bloom Bar and all these other high-profile places. Now people want to go to NSG's club in the hopes that they might even see them, but to know that the vibe is going to be right.
It will be mad.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
What do I think about Nigerian, Ghanaian, and other West African artists?
That some of them need to really maybe they need to make their investments and their other interests a little bit more public, because I believe it will inspire the younger artists. Because a lot of people believe that it's just the money they take from shows and record sales that they're going to live on. And that's why a lot of people might have gone broke in the last couple of years.
I feel like the more people than we know have invested into like property, have invested into land, and maybe they don't shout about it because it's not necessarily in line with their brand. But we do know that a lot of people have then gone ahead to create labels without knowing how to run a label, have gone on to sign artists, have gone on to make bad investments because they haven't really understood the ecosystem. And then you're right, they've ended up broke. And it's a shame. I just feel like, I don't know, nobody wants to talk about the losses as well as the successes. So we just hear...
You know that phrase you just said there is actually one of the things that I was speaking to one of my friends about. And I said to her, I said, yo, one of the reasons why people just want to be you whilst you're popping is because you actually never told them
about
some of those stories. And I'll be honest, I'll break confidentiality here. What's going on, Yemi Alade, my queen? You know, I'm going to talk about this. So I spoke to her. I said, Yemi Alade won the Peak Talent Show in Nigeria in 2008 or 2009. One of the biggest shows that was watched by millions in Nigeria.
Project Fame, right?
Peak Talent Show. She got about 5 million naira, whatever was the biggest thing. But do you believe that it took Yemi from 2009, after winning the most popular show in the country, to 2014 to getting her first hit record?
Johnny, yeah.
6 years of being known by everybody on the streets, walking the streets in Lagos, people pointing to you, still recording music, backing up for other musicians, trying to grind 6 years before she found the eventual takeoff that she needed into. Exactly. And a lot of people, that 6 years, people don't know. People just say, yeah, me Alade Johnny. Hey, I'm looking for my Johnny. Nah, it's not that.
No, for 6 years she was grinding. Making ends meet.
Exactly.
Eating hand to mouth.
Exactly. And I think those stories, now I believe it's time for people like that and people in those positions to now start sharing those stories. You know, Tiwa Savage was on X Factor in 2008.
Yeah, age 26.
She didn't get back to Nigeria with big hit records until 3-4 years later. You know, so now that's what people need to start studying.
She's
and those
one,
are the
though, that of the few artists that has said, you know, I went to Banky W and he said no.
Yeah,
I went to this person. So I love her honesty,
that.
but
Yeah.
you're right. We don't hear enough about it. And there are a few artists now coming out with like docu-series and documentaries. So Nasty C has one called Origin, which is on Apple Music. And
What
you
about
see...
the one he had on Netflix? Have you seen the one on Zulu Man in Tokyo?
No, I've not seen that one.
Incredible. Came out a couple of months ago.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning. He's another young brother that I really, really like.
I really rate
South
him.
African rapper. Incredible. If you don't know who it is, just go check it out. Nasty C is a brilliant young brother that's making amazing music and also making strides outside of the music space.
Right.
I'll check that Apple one out.
And he goes back to, the shanty town that he grew up in, and you really see him
Apple?
go on Apple Music. Yeah, whole documentary, and you see him like connecting with, the people that he grew up with, and it's like, rah, you started here. It's sick to me. I love everything he's doing. He's coming out with a couple books as well, an autobiography. And I'm hopeful that he'll be true to himself and really talk about the losses during that time, during that come up. So that it inspires other people to see that it's not a straight line. Sometimes there's bends, there's curves. But ultimately, if you keep at it, you'll succeed. So hold tight to him.
Absolutely. Hold tight to my brother Nasty C. Definitely. Now, over to the United Kingdom. After a few years hiatus, the Mobile Awards finally returned virtually with stunning performances from the likes of her, Shabo, Miss Banks, Heady One, Young T and Bugsy, Tiwa Savage, Stylo G, to name a few. The Queen's killed it, by the way.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
got to say that. Let's just start with that one. The ceremony was hosted by presenters Maya Jama and Chunks, becoming the first host of any top award event in Europe with Somali heritage. Shout outs to the Mobile for that incredible pairing. Now, stars like Nines, Heady One, Mahalia, H, Young T and Bugsy were amongst the winners, with the most anticipated category at the ceremony for us Afrobeats heads, of course, was the Best African Act category, which had the likes of Wiz, Burna, Davido, Shatawale, Tiwa Afrobeat, Master KG, Fireboy, Stonebwoy, and Rema as the nominees. Tiwa Savage as the only female artist on that nomination. What do you think?
Not great.
They have to have done better.
Anyway, we'll talk about what I think about the nominees in general.
Okay. Now, the winner eventually was Starboy Weezy, who I believe picked up the Mobiles for a second time in the category, or maybe the third time.
I think that's his fourth Mobo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, and he gave an acceptance speech via Zoom, as did some of the other winners. Firstly, what do you think about the awards ceremony as a whole, and who gave the most standout performance in your opinion?
Okay, so I'm gonna again repeat what you said.
Yep.
Big hail to Mobos for having the first double act Somali of Somali heritage. So Maya Jama is half Swedish, half Somali, and Chunks is fully Somali. Yeah. And love to see it. I like the fact that throughout the award show they went to different cities that have urban music. They even had a setup that was in Lagos. I was like, okay, that's really nice to see. In terms of stand-up performances, you touched on Tiwa. Dammy Twitch and the whole team did amazing. It was actually executively produced by Vanessa, who's obviously
amazing.
Her manager, PR, all-round superstar.
That video
gave
was
us pastels. There was harmonies.
The video was crazy.
It was sick. It was an R&B refix of Korobat as well.
For me, every time I always try to remind people, like, Tiwa Savage is a savage R&B singer. Like, forgive the pun. She is a savage R&B singer.
Yep.
And what she did in that performance by switching it up and that's what superstars do. I'm not going to be performing it the way you know it.
Right.
Now let me give you a live rendition of this sound. And that was what she did. Over to you.
Live arrangements, the backing vocalist, she had the choir, she even added the NSARS message there as well, who gave the order.
That went viral.
It was sick. Like, everything was just crisp. It was clean. It was beautiful. It was soft. It was pastel, but it was strong at the same time. Loved Tiwa. We had Davido as well.
David,
yes.
David
the fact that he again used his platform to put the mayor of Lagos on.
No,
Malcolm's debut at the Mobos.
Yeah,
come on.
That's crazy. He did that at Wireless. He's done that a couple of times already.
Right.
He spoke about him on Shade Borough. This is somebody that
I loved.
Remember,
Woo!
David.
The Shade Room were messy for that.
Shade Room, yeah. He was like, yo, who's the biggest artist in life? He was like, his name is Maya Kun. I'm like, David, that's true David O'Passion.
She was cheeky though, because she even gave him options. She said, out of Burna, Wiz, and David, who's the biggest? You're speaking to David. What do you want him to say?
Because he just come off of that interview that he gave the beautiful Bolanle and said, yo, he was the biggest artist. Obviously, you're supposed to believe you're the best.
Of course.
And that was it. But going back to the performances, coming from Tiwa Savage, Miss Banks was ridiculous.
I will just quickly say, sorry, just back on David, there were a few comments around the lip syncing.
Yeah.
And they were comparing it to Tiwa, who gave us the live arrangements, who gave us quote-unquote live vocals, whereas obviously David and Mayokun sang over the track. Nothing was too different. And for me, who likes live music,
I think that
I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think that was I just, do you know the funny thing? I was on air whilst the mobiles was happening.
Okay.
So I'm just watching, not really listening at that time.
Yeah.
But I left the studio at the Beat London 103.6 FM, my sisters on Westside Radio every single week as well.
Yeah.
I walked into the office and I looked on Twitter and David had 40,000 tweets. So I'm like, what's going on here, man? What is it? So when I clicked into it, David already has beef for London Twitter. Man. Shout out my brother. He doesn't want to hear from us. He's like, London. He said London Twitter is crazy.
Yeah.
So once I clicked into it, everybody's killing it. Oh man, he was lip syncing and blah 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 blah.
It wasn't just us though. I went on Instablog Niger and everybody was saying the same thing. Yeah. Wow. They were not too impressed. People had comments though, because Copy presented the awards to Wizkid, and we'll come to Wizkid and Benner in a second. First of all, let me I'll wrap that up with some good positive vibes. I loved the fact that this was the first time that I really felt that Afrobeats had a foot in the MOBO Awards. We had 2 winners, 2 performers, and presenters. Come on.
To be honest with you, the Mobiles, big shout outs to the Mobile Awards. For at least the last couple of awards, they've done incredibly well. Remember, David performed If and stuff live on Channel 4 a couple of years ago from Liverpool. And we've had Fuse ODG give some of the most amazing performances as well at the Mobile. So the Mobile consistently, shout out Kanye King, shout out my sister Eunice, the entire Mobile team, they have been very forthright in ensuring that the African heritage. Yes, initially we were crazy back in 2010. We were angry because they treat us bad. Like, oh man, why are they treating Africans like this? This is musical black. But they eventually evolved and they embraced it very well. But this time around, it was just amazing. The fact that...
For me, it didn't feel like a token this year.
From the beginning, Maya Jama saying that we're having performances like David Ochi was... I'm like, we're in the headline. So for me, I get what you're saying. And, big shout-outs once again to the Mobiles for really bringing that to... And shout-outs to, Stylo G as well. Stylo G's performance...
Sick.
Crazy performance. All the women. Her, Shable, man. Shable's another beast we need to talk about. But now let's go into the awards. The winners.
Okay, so
Heady won.
Okay.
Heady won. You cannot say anything. Eddie has had a good 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
He's been at the top of the game. His name is all over the place. The album went to number 1.
Yeah.
So there's nothing anybody can say about Heady One apart from the fact that he was fighting on the plane. But that was
Dubai.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about in this context. Heady One has had an amazing year. Nines, cleaned out.
Yep.
Nobody could question that as well. These are names that are killing it in that whole world. Now
Young T and Bugsy.
They had a big smash over the last 10 months. If it wasn't Corona, that record would even have done mad. They had a remix with The Baby, I think it was. Who else? It was the questionable one. Even Shay, my producer, was saying like Mahalia.
Okay, that's not what I thought you were going to say. Okay, Lance.
I hadn't heard that much about her. However, the Mobiles have a knack of spotting somebody that's just about to gain our attention. Lauren Vula was one of those. They already... So the minute that they touched her, I went to check out some of her stuff on YouTube, and I'm seeing 20 million views.
Yeah, she's sick. I'm about her. I like her a lot.
So I'm like, yo, this woman, this queen is big.
Yeah, she's
So
huge.
that was dope. Let's talk about the Best African Act category. Once you put Starboy in the mix, it starts to become a questionable one. Personally, over the last 10, 12 months, 14 months, 2 years, it's very impossible to see beyond Burna Boy in the Best African Act category. However, I think the nominees should have been well spread. I think I should have seen Diamond in there.
Yep.
I believe Yemi Alade should have been in there.
Yep.
But again, when you're looking at people selecting, sometimes you're selecting your favorites.
So I'll say that the year in review was last September to this September. So if we're looking at that window, Wizkid hadn't dropped his album in that window.
It was September to when?
Last September 2019 to September 2020, and Made in Lagos came out on the 30th of October.
Hey!
In that same year, Afrobeats didn't release one song.
But the record
But he was
continued to be-
nominated.
No, but the record continued to be one of the biggest records in the world. Remember, Joanna, even though it was released in 2018, continued to grow in numbers. But he dropped an EP. Have you forgotten
He dropped
Afrowave, the
Afrowave,
project?
but that was before September, sir.
Yeah, but before September last year? Are you sure?
I'm
No.
sure. He said that his caption on Instagram was, "I haven't dropped anything this year. Surprised to be nominated, but vote for me anyway."
Are you sure?
He said it.
But no.
We can check.
We need to check that. Shay, come on.
Because I
man.
remember
Afrowave.
the launch party, and I
Yeah,
remember it
when
was
was
a
the launch?
summer
No,
in
it
the
wasn't
BBC
summer.
studios.
No,
I remember you hosted and you killed
Yeah.
it as always.
Are you sure?
I mean, you can triple check, but his
I'm
Instagram caption was, "I've not dropped anything this year. Happy for the nomination though. Vote for me."
It was 11th of October.
Okay.
Yes.
So his caption was
Yeah,
slightly
it was 11th
misleading.
Yeah, it was 11th of October. Afrowave was 11th of October. So it definitely went into that. He had
Category.
Kondo
Right.
featuring
T-Pain.
a smash record. So that was it. But the Wizkid one is the one that I'm thinking, what?
How?
So
Maybe
the single.
Joro, Ghetto Love, all of those fell into that window.
Okay.
But if we were to compare it to Burna Boy's year, or in that same time period, obviously we had Twice as Tall. African Giant dropped actually before that window.
August.
But you're right. Tiwa should have been there.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yemi should have been there.
Yeah.
Tiwa was there.
Yeah.
To me, I was happy that Adekune was there.
Yes, I did. Shout
I
out
was
my brother.
expecting
Yeah,
Joe
shout out my
Boy there.
Is it with the singles? Yeah, because
He's had a
I'll be
strong
honest with you,
year.
some of the criteria of selecting the nominations was single or project.
If Rem is there,
Yeah.
Joe Boy should have been there.
You think?
If Fireboy's there, you don't think Joe Boy should have been there?
No, I'm just thinking he had what was that big record? Nobody. It was a big record.
Nobody with DJ Neptune.
That's a big record.
Yeah.
Then he had
He dropped
Is It
his
King?
project, right? With
Which
Babe-
had King and But the thing, this is the problem. His best African act is come like his best Nigerian act now.
True.
You know what I mean?
East
We
Africa
need
didn't
to-
get a look in. You're right. Diamond should have been there. Diamond dropped
Busiswa should be there.
track with Kofi Olomide. Gwa. He got
the
10
biggest-
million views in
It's
1
the-
week.
We're gonna talk about is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The biggest situation.
So how do I
I'm
say this?
telling you,
There are
it's
people
the-
that I know that are on the committee. I'm sure you know them
yeah,
too.
even myself.
Yeah,
You know,
I
was
just-
on we got the problem is this.
Who?
Unfortunately, sometimes people find it hard to separate being a critic to being a fan.
Mm-hmm.
As a fan, if they tell me to pick my top 3 artists, you always get a Davido in there.
Always.
You always get a, Yemi Alade. You always get a Wizkid in there. You're always gonna get those things. But if I'm a critic and I'm looking at specific stuff, those people might not be in there.
Yep.
Based on the criteria that has been laid on the table. Now, that's me. But now we're talking a whole lot of other
I love
people.
that you've said that though, because
people
when you're
don't
on the
know.
committee
Yeah.
or when you're voting for something like this, you have to be
Take
the air
away
on
your-
the street.
Yes.
Not your preference,
Yeah.
but what is actually
What's
the
happening?
pulse of the culture
What's happening?
right now. And to me, Wizkid was, and I heard other people say, I looked and I didn't know who to decide, so I just picked Wiz as the default.
That's what happens.
It's not fair.
That's what happens. So a lot of people, that's why I said at the beginning that once Wiz is in a pot,
Game over.
It becomes a different conversation. Now it's a popularity contest in the UK and outside of the UK. But Wizkid definitely, he dropped a project in Soundman EP in December.
He did.
Which was one of my favorite projects as well. So for me, he definitely caught my attention.
Yeah.
Soundman EP was
I think
ridiculous.
of all the people that were nominated, again, I only have to hail, for me, Adekune, because out of all of them, Afropop has been on repeat for me. Twice as Tall hasn't had that replay value that I would have loved.
It's been on repeat for me.
Celia had that replay value for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's tough.
it's tough.
Shatta Wale, Stonebwoy,
The fact that there were only 2 Ghanaians, and I know that Sarkodie's can pull out, hold on a second.
Sarkodie's album.
Black Love was sick.
Listen, officially on the Afrobeats podcast, Black Love is one of the best albums of the last 12 months.
Yeah, agreed.
No cap.
No cap. No cap. I love Stonebwoy's album as well. Like, obviously, the fact he was able to get Kerry Hilson and Activate with David.
Yeah, it's
but
dope.
how was Sarkodie not there?
Black Love is ridiculous.
Sick.
Features Tekno, Miles, Keith Daniel, King Promise, Kwame Eugene, Kiddy. It had Mr. Easy. It's got Malik Berry. It's got Doneo. Trust, that shows you how many times I listened to that project. It's ridiculous. So that's the only questionable thing. But in terms of, once there's a winner, but Burna Boy won the Best International
Act.
which an Afrobeats act hasn't picked up in the past.
And that was his first mobile, I believe.
Yes, and because mobile didn't take place last year. So, and that was the year when he was on fire. So that's a big award as well. So, shout outs to Whiskey, shout outs to Burna Boy. Obviously, names that you cannot skate through or skate over once you're talking about African act and Afrobeats. However, the likes of Fali Ipupa and Diamond Platnumz, they need to be in the conversation.
100%.
Yeah, now sticking with award theme, as the MTV Africa's 2021 award nominees have been released over the weekend, the ceremony itself is scheduled to take place in Uganda 2021, pandemic permitting. And as you can imagine, some of the categories consist of Africa's finest musicians. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the return of MTV Africa Awards? And secondly, I'd like to go through the nominees as you make your predictions. Let's kick it off with the best female.
All right.
Simi, Nigeria. Sheba, Uganda. Shoma Josie, South Africa. Busiswa, South Africa. Yemi Alade, Nigeria. Soraya Ramos, Cape Verde. And Tiwa Savage, Nigeria.
So I have a question. Is this voted for by the public? Or is it a committee-based?
The nominations was committee-based.
Okay. But the winners will be voted for...
I think so.
Okay. Because I think with names like Tiwa, Yemi, and Simi, it's a popularity contest. Shoma Josie has had an amazing year.
Incredible 2 years.
Yeah, just
incredible
like
2 years.
From even before John Cena,
Yeah.
but knowing that she's been able to,
Incredible
cross the
2 years.
pond and
Yeah.
really hold it down. And she's 19, I believe.
She's a young
girl, killing it. I feel really bad for Soraya Ramos from Cape Verde because in
that
a list
category,
like this,
her name doesn't stand out.
but Sis was just dropped a project.
Incredible. My story. Fantastic.
But again, you've got the heavyweights that have been doing it. Tiwa, Yemi, their OG, Simi, Duduke was everywhere, charted in every country.
It was the biggest. It was the biggest Simi record ever.
And again, if it's based on popularity, I don't know whether the public are going to be like, okay, let me look at the last 12 months and pick Duduke, or are they going to go for the names that they know and love?
At the names.
So, prediction then?
That would be tough. That was tough. For me, I looked at it and I'm just like, yo, great. I don't have to pick. I've left that to you. Best male, Burna Boy, Nigeria, Enos B.
Good.
Democratic Republic of Congo, Kabza De Small, South Africa.
I love him.
Harmonize, Tanzania, Fireboy, Nigeria, Master KG, South Africa, Rema, Nigeria.
Master KG with Jerusalema
Huge.
was the most searched for track on Shazam for like 4 weeks in a row.
It's crazy.
Will he take it home though?
Enos B had the biggest record in Yope Remix featuring Diamond Platnumz last year. 170 million views.
Kabza De Small had Spinono with Burna Boy with Wizkid, one of the biggest Amapiano
He's
Afro house
the
tracks.
originator Amapiano.
Fireboy has done 2 albums in the space
LTG
of
is a classic
year.
Afrobeats album. Not everybody has a classic album.
Features.
Yeah.
But then Burna Boy has flipping Diddy on Twice as Tall.
No.
So where do we go? What's the criteria?
What about Rema? The future.
Look, I didn't even put Rema in the not the running, but even in the conversation because he's default. People just look at him and just expect that he's gonna take it home. There's nothing that he does. Woman was my most streamed song on my Spotify Wrapped.
Are you for real?
I saw it. I said, you know what? It's true. One of my favorite songs of the year.
Now, Artist of the Year, Burna, Kalema, Diamond Platnumz, Master KG, Davido, Tiwa Savage, and Wizkid.
I plead the fifth. I have no comment.
That's a tough one. If he's voting, everybody should just leave now because Diamond Platnumz and the boys from East Africa.
They don't play. The Swahili guys, they don't play. Yeah, Yeah. Diamond does in a day what it takes the average artist to do in 6 months.
Now, another category that was interesting is Best Hip Hop. Nasty C, South Africa. Suspect 95, Cote d'Ivoire. Calligraph Jones, Kenya. Kwesi Arthur, Ghana. NGA, Angola. And OMG, Senegal. No Nigeria, and only Kwesi from Ghana. What are your thoughts? And they didn't even put AKA or Casper in there.
No, I feel like, and this is going to be so controversial to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of the rappers that we know and love have started singing. So, what do you do? What do you do? Nasty C's taking it home for me. He Zulu Man with Some Power, incredible album. He had T.I. on the project. Yeah. He's really been going ham with the visuals, and I mean, the only person I think could really challenge him on the list is maybe. No, he's taking it home.
The final one that I wanted us
That's my prediction. Pay me money when it happens, okay?
The final one I wanted us to have a look at is Alone Together. You know, earlier on during the lockdown, MTV had this concert, Alone Together concert. So they selected a couple of performances during that performance, and it was Diamond Platinums, Black Motion South Africa, Niniola featuring Busiswa, Singular, that's Congo, AK South Africa, and Yemi Alade, Nigeria, the Poverty Live session. Which one takes it for you?
So I rewatched all of them today.
Yep.
As you do.
Yep.
And
it's crazy because Diamond Platinums was ridiculous.
That was the one I was gonna say.
Yeah, he walked us through the whole house. He
had the girl.
He had something to it. It was crazy. You know, it's obviously when you see the women perform, Nini Olambo Siswa was ridiculous. Yemi Alade was crazy, but Diamond just did something else that we hadn't seen because it was early.
Right.
Now we're used to people adding a little bit more to their performances, but at the beginning of the year, that was
in his house.
Yeah, that was stunning.
He started in his bed. Just that element alone, I'm like, Diamond Platinums, yeah.
That's it, you know. So yeah, well, over to East Africa, where Diamond Platinums' new single featuring Koffi Olomide continues to become the fastest rising song in Africa with over 11 million views in a week and support coming from all over the world. The noise reached fever pitch when Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta was seen dancing to the record at a recent event, which led Kenyan rapper Octopizzo to condemning Kenyans on Twitter for supporting foreign musicians over theirs in singer Otile Brown. Now, Otile Brown, who has a new song featuring Ricardo Banks, responded saying he loved every musician, including Kenyan, including foreign artists. And his quote was simply, "Support who you like. Support what you like. Music has no boundaries. Jealousy is a sign of weakness, and it ain't for us. If you ain't popping, you just ain't. Even if you try to bring another competition down, you can never force people to like your ish. I got nothing but love for every artist, even foreign artists. Might poke them sometimes, but it's nothing personal. This is just entertainment. Because just because we're being vouched for in these complaints doesn't mean we feel/think the same." So he's not supporting Octopizzo's complaints. Do you? Let us stop whining. For our media keep supporting us, not only big hits or big artists. When a song is good, even to upcoming artists, you pick it up. It's okay not to like my music or support. A hustler will always be one regardless. Support what you like. Now, what are your thoughts, first of all, on, we talked about Diamond Platinum's record becoming arguably the big, it's like everybody else is trying to go international, he's trying to go pan-African, which is the way.
That's it. 54 countries in Africa. You can't tell me that if you did an African tour where you did one country every week.
He'll be doing stadiums by the time the pandemic opens
100%.
in different countries
100%.
around Africa. So now, this complaint has always been leveled, particularly in Kenya. We've seen people even have, demonstrations and stuff like that where they're talking about, Kenyan radio supports Nigerian and other parts more than Kenyan artists. It looks like this is another, reaction by Octopizzo. What do you think he should? Do you think it was right to say what he said?
Can I take you back to this time last year?
Yes, please.
When Fuse ODG was like, Dirty December is here.
Oh, Ghana.
in Ghana. Let us only play Ghanaian musicians and artists. Why is it that I'm listening to radio and I'm hearing all of these Nigerians? When I go to Nigeria, I don't hear Ghanaians.
I remember.
This argument or this notion is not new. We haven't heard it this year, not just last year, not just the year before.
Absolutely.
The comment on just support good music, I definitely resonate with. But there is something about supporting your own.
That's why the law comes again into the conversation. So now there must be a law that allows and forces the hand of the local DJs and radio to support specific first.
My only bugbear with this is artists that blow in Ghana, as an example, will complain that they don't get the international traction. And you will turn around and say, oh, it's because you rap in Tree or Ga or Fanti. You don't have the international appeal. You have Nigerian artists that purposefully will rap and sing in English and Pidgin. Like, even the Igbo artists don't blow like the artists that are singing in English and Pidgin because they have that in mind. Go back to the music. If the music doesn't have the quote-unquote international appeal, it's not going to cross the boundaries. The issue only comes when the artists are singing in their local dialects and the countries don't support. So I believe there should be some kind of initiative. Like, I really love artists like Trina South, Nova. They're really doing it on the east side, but we don't know about them.
We don't hear them.
Because, again, they're singing in Swahili or whatever their native tongue is. It's down to the DJs. We set the culture.
In Nigeria, I think it happened as well in the early 2000s, where the Nigerian artists really picked up an issue with radio stations and stuff in Nigeria, because we were playing a lot of hip-hop and R&B and stuff. And now I think they increased to 70 or 80% Nigerian music, hence why Nigerian music has also blossomed.
Right.
So
it's a journey.
Other parts of Africa as well, I believe in Ghana and Kenya and all these places, these are the type of laws that they should look at for their broadcast, platforms. Yes, people will say if the music is good enough. Yes, we understand that. But let's force this thing. It's the same thing with having more women as well. Yes, there's great music, but let's force the hand first. Let me know that when I get into the studio, if my DJ does not have 40% women singles, then we're not ready to go.
Or 40% local talent.
Straight away.
I feel like South Africa has done it so well because Amapiano has only spread across the continent because they knew it was a vibe, they supported the vibe, and other people caught the vibe and said, I'm on this.
Everything in South Africa. They did it with
Quator, Afro House. They are very good.
And when people go to South Africa, because of how developed South Africa is, and you see what kind of music they're listening to and what the vibe is like, everybody leaves South Africa. Listen,
taking that sound back to where they come from.
A Nigerian artist has an Amapiano song.
I can name 5 for you now. LAX, Rema, Mastercraft. E-Wallet was who was E-Wallet?
E-Wallet was Kidomina.
Everybody. But it's true because I've always said with music, the people are the biggest ambassadors. You can do as much A&R, PR, branding as you want. Once it connects with the people, they will go and recommend it. That's it.
And that's definitely it. Finally, 2 things. Burna Boy with the official soundtrack for the brand new Grand Theft Auto game. Again, Burna Boy is making strides.
I'm wearing the Burna Boy t-shirt right now from the Bluetooth collection.
Listen, I had the tracksuit yesterday. Listen, he looks like he's killing it.
He's doing it.
He's not only making sounds for us, he's also, collaborating. The games. This is probably the 2nd year in a row that I believe is on the Grand Theft Auto.
I think,
and he was in a movie as well.
Right, and not just him. I want to hail Fireboy and Rema. They were also on
Fireboy
FIFA
was on FIFA
and the NBA games as well.
Games.
So I'm
That's
just loving
residuals.
it. This is what you call endorsement, sponsorship, longevity, because these guys sit at home and play video games 6 hours in a day.
Absolutely.
If they're consuming the content. Oh, Naira Marley got placement as well.
Naira Marley. Listen, my son plays games. He raps some songs I've never heard before in my life.
Do you see?
And he knows the lyric word for word. So it's because of the game. And finally, just about 24 hours ago, a couple of days ago, Chipmunk posted a screenshot up where he said, at this age, you can't be picky anymore. I think somebody must have told him that once you get to 8:30, you can't be picking with with the ladies anymore. Just pick the one with the cleanest heart and move forward with that. What are your thoughts on the fact that when you get to a certain age, you cannot be picky when it comes to relationships? Do you buy that?
I reject
or are you
that in the mighty name of Jesus. What?
or are you one of those that say just wait on the Lord? Your time will come.
I don't believe in settling full stop with career, with relationships, whatever. There's a saying that men don't marry the love of their life. They marry when they're ready. And I think his statement aligns with that. At 30, I think he's believing that I'm ready to settle down now. So I'm just going to marry the next babe.
The clean heart.
Yeah,
and just forget.
I don't agree. I don't agree. God forbid a man will now come to marry me and say that, oh, because I was the only one left. Forget it. Forget it, please. Back to sender.
Listen, finally, we mentioned albums by Miss V, DJ Spinall,
Tekno.
and Tekno.
What
What are
dropping
your thoughts
today?
about it? I listened to the Tekno album. I think it deserves probably a couple of listens for me because there was more like the same vibe throughout. I don't think there was a collaborative effort in there.
No collaborations on his
on there.
project, Old Romance.
It kind of sounded like the same kind of mood, isn't it? What did you think about it?
So for me, actually, it was an easy first listen, but nothing really stood out. I was at the listening party on Wednesday. I playlisted the track Dana, I believe it's called. I like that one. A lot of people are liking Neighbor. It's his debut album. I don't know why it's taken him so long. This to me is not the best of Tekno.
Yeah, I felt like he just wanted to put the music out. The music will sound dope anyways, and he's an incredible musician.
Right.
Producers, mastercraft. I'm hearing Mix Monster on there.
Oh yeah,
you
he's
know,
got
so
great producers. He's a great
stuff.
writer anyway.
Brilliant, but it was just kind of
chill.
Yeah, kind of chill. You know, Miss V, the album, like I said, we already found our favorites in there. The album's fantastic. Haven't taken a year or something away from music and coming back with an album this year, that was a little bit tricky because people will be like, yo, do you really know what's going on right now? But the sound is incredible. The record with Kojo is dope. The one with Medical is incredible. My Baby is fantastic. And then the Saturday.
Oh wait, sorry. I just want to quickly hail Love Letter as well.
Love Letter is
sick. No features. She just killed it. Yeah. Oh.
Love Letter is sick.
Sorry, you were gonna say the one with
Yeah,
Sarkodie.
Sarkodie, ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
Now, DJ Spinall, for me, as a DJ,
I'm gonna cut you.
it looks like, talk to me,
He named it after me.
Grace.
Yeah. I spoke to him. I said, everywhere I go, I'm going to say that you named it after. He said,
listen.
take it. So you heard it here first.
Absolutely.
The project was named after me, Gracie May. Thank you.
Nah.
He's got everyone on there.
Everybody's on there. And it's Afrobeats as well. And it's
I
always,
love it.
It's great when you hear an
It's my
Afrobeats
favorite
album.
of the three.
It's listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I think having Oxlade, having Fire,
He's got
Fireboy?
Shabo on there. He's got
Shabo,
Bodge on there.
Bodge.
Dice Ales. The track with
Bella Schmudder's on there.
just,
You know, it's a
a
lot.
remix to
Mims
the
is on
Cranium
there.
track as well.
Yeah,
With
so-
Benji Flow. Yeah.
It's incredible. You know, shout out to my brother DJ Spinall. That album's fantastic. Go check out all three albums.
Support good
we have
music.
Tekno, we have Miss V, we have DJ Spinall. On that note, we end this week's edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeat podcast, of course, sponsored by World Remit and supported by Afro Media Studios, Afro Scene TV, LM Media, I am Maurice. And thank you to my incredible guest, the one and only Gracie May.
Before we go though, I
Yes.
have to hail you.
Oh, thank you. sis.
Honestly, I've
Appreciate
been
it,
doing
man.
radio for 5 years. The last 3 years have been heavily influenced by the connections you helped me make, the
Wow.
Platforms you put me on,
Wow. Wow.
just even our one-to-one talks of mentorship and everything. I wouldn't be
appreciate-
where I am without you.
Wow.
So, no,
That's
thank you so
huge,
much.
man.
I
Thank
appreciate you.
so much. And I didn't pay her to say that. Thank you so much. That
No,
really,
honestly,
really
from the
touched
heart.
me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll be bringing you on again.
Oh,
I'm sure you can
I'm
always come
ready.
and talk about this thing. And you've got a podcast as well.
Yes, please, guys, check me out every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on
Yeah.
Westside Radio with the Afro Nation Show. Myself
Boom.
and Rod Rance giving you the best in Afro beats,
Crazy.
Afro swing,
Shout out my brother,
Afro
Rod Rance, man.
everything. Check me out on the Afrobeats podcast as well.
Yeah.
We do Afro pop culture, so similar vibe to this, but we get a
Amazing.
little bit messier. You know,
Yeah,
3 girls on a
it's 3
platform.
ladies is crazy.
We do the thing, okay? You could also find me writing Afrobeats interviews for the F Word, Pause Magazine, and Sounds of Africa.
Talk
I've
that.
just dropped actually the F Word podcast with CK. He's dropping a project, Boyfriend, next quarter, and we talk about all things that, NSARS and everything else. And again, we've said PR, I work with Lord London, and we basically expose great talent. So that's Gracie May in a bubble.
Listen, man, Gracie May and a lot more, man. Once again, thank you very much for coming through.
Sir.
Rod Rand, send me that Cameroonian record, man. I'm waiting for you, man. Until next time, it's peace, and I'm out.
Right.